Great discussion today on climate, lots of fantastic use cases, lots of examples given. I'd like to point out most of them focused on urban. However, rural plays a role in green as well. UScellular has been focused on rural areas for our entire existence. We see it as a huge opportunity. I'll give you one data point. A CTIA study found 5G fixed wireless access could save the average rural consumer 121 hours or 4,600 miles per year when it comes to avoiding the commute. That saves time, it's good for the environment, it's good for quality of life. But what does it require? It requires that the rural consumer is connected. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about rural America and connectivity in rural America this afternoon. And I'm going to use a bit of a device. I was on a TV show called Undercover Boss. It aired a couple of months ago. I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips to help make my point and keep it a little bit lively. I have some friends in the audience. The rest of you I would like to be friends with. Don't hold my disguise against me, please, okay? So I want to give you an example about why rural America needs help, and I want to introduce you to Alina.
It sounds like that job stability is pretty important.
I need that stability because I've never had that. Growing up, people being in prison or people being addicted to drugs was pretty common in my life. So actually when I was 16, I ended up emancipating myself and going out on my own. There was an incident that happened and I was just like, I'm done. I called my grandparents. I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. Thankfully, my grandparents were actually willing to take me in. That next day, they had a lawyer come to my school. I signed the papers. They came and picked me up. I got all my stuff and I left.
So that's Alina. And Alina is one of our store associates in Iowa. And as you heard in the story, Alina had a childhood filled with drug addiction, no employment, limited access to education, and there are a lot of Alinas that I meet. I meet Alinas in my company, and I meet Alinas in our customer base. And my point of bringing up this story is that folks in rural America need help, and you can see that just through some of the data. Rural America is struggling. There's employment challenges. You can see rural has stagnated while metro's grown. There's education challenges. We ran a survey showed rural parents are 8 percentage points less confident in their ability to help their children with math and science, 13% less confidence in having conversations about STEM. There's inequality challenges. The most rural counties have the highest level of inequalities, and there's population challenges. There's also the lowest growth in population. Now, the good news is that we, the people in this room, can help fix this problem. So by connecting rural America, we can make a difference. Let's take employment as an example. 80% of Fortune 500 companies only accept job applications online. If you increase access to broadband in schools, you see better test outcomes, you see better SAT scores. You actually see job creation. And I'll use my company as a good example. When COVID hit, we moved all of our call center jobs remote. So now employees that would have had to be in Tulsa, which is one of our larger population centers that we serve, now can do their job from anywhere. And so if you do a good job connecting people, if you want to help rural America, get it connected. But connecting rural America is hard. And this is where I'd like to show you the second video clip from the show. And I want to introduce you to Kyron.
We made it.
Man, look at this. It's gorgeous up here.
You know, we serve all this. And you see that house way over there?
Sure.
Without us, without this tower being up, that house doesn't have service. It means something to me because it's bringing service to someone who otherwise wouldn't have it.
And so Kyron's one of our network technicians. Kyron has a portfolio of towers that he visits every year, and he's responsible for keeping them up. And as you can see, he takes his job very seriously. And I want to point out that house that Kyron was talking about. The one he said, if UScellular is not up, if we're not providing connectivity, that house isn't connected, and he's right. There's an interesting narrative, and it can be an attractive narrative that says we should hook up every single home and business in America to fiber. And that sounds great when you're sitting in an urban area. If you spend any time in rural America, and I spend a lot of time in rural America, and you look at a house like this house is not going to be